All right, good camera angle. I'm with Average Broz Gym, John Broz. I've been watching his training methods for a while here at the American Open Series in Reno, Sparks, Nevada. Is it Sparks?
I think we're in Reno, yeah.
So we're in Reno. Okay.
I believe so, yeah.
It says Sparks on the Google.
Maybe we are, but
All right.
I was under the impression we're in Reno.
All right, so I'm here. Just got to meet and talk to a lot of great coaches and athletes. A great atmosphere. So I'm taking time out of John's evening from watching weightlifting. Got to lift with him a little bit and some of his athletes. So I want to talk to him about squatting every day. I'd done it about a year ago, and I progressed pretty good. I liked it a lot. And then he mentioned to me hamstring health and strengthening up the hamstrings to continue the squat everyday program, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Maybe a little background about how you got into weightlifting, and then how you got into the squat everyday.
I got into the sport of weightlifting by coincidence. There was a gym by my house that I grew up in, and it was called Olympic Health Club, and the coach taught weightlifting. And it was just literally a fluke, because back then, 40 years ago, wasn't like big box gyms like there are now. CrossFit didn't exist. There was no bodybuilding gyms really. There was just like little tiny gyms spread around. And this gym just happened to be the gym of Chuck Vinci, the last Olympic male champion, 1956, 1960 Olympic champion.
Vinci?
Yeah, Chuck Vinci. Yeah, it's from Cleveland, and my coach was his coach. And so I was around those guys growing up, and it was just a fluke that I just happened to be around that caliber of athletes.
Because he was on the same team as Tommy, I want to say Tommy Conant.
Tommy Conant,
yeah.
So he's the last Olympic champion for the United States, 1960. So a couple guys that won in 56, but before then, Melbourne, but 60 in Rome was the last time we had an Olympic champion for men. And so, that's how I got into the sport. And
how old were you?
When I first started, I was 10.
Wow, 10 years old.
Yeah. So I've been around a long time. I drifted away for a while, and I went to powerlifting for a while. I was bodybuilding, and then came back to weightlifting.
Okay, so you're an iron guy. You lifting weights is part of your life.
And all those different things I did was just more out of curiosity. I wanted to explore and learn new things. So I tried different sports, and I was literally just super fortunate to be around some of the best powerlifters in history. John Black, Vincenello. They had a gym in Cleveland. They were pretty much legends of the powerlifting sport. So I just happened to be around those guys. And then Lee Haney and some other guys in bodybuilding.
You got to be around Lee Haney?
Yeah, I was just really fortunate just to literally just be in the right place at the right time with a bunch of different people. So it's just, so I came back to weightlifting. I just found it the most appealing for me.
Yeah. What's appealing about it for you?
A lot of things, but not to get into a big long conversation about the difference. I mean, I respect bodybuilding, powerlifting, and weightlifting. Personally, I just like it more.
Yeah.
Just for a lot of reasons. I just think it's an equalizer. I think, and if I had to summarize, I would just say in powerlifting, if you can have a distinct physical advantage because of leverage or something, and that you just can't. If you have long arms, you're just going to be better at something than somebody could ever be. And in bodybuilding, if you have a certain bone structure that you're born with, you're just going to be better.
Certain symmetry. No, I totally understand. I've done powerlifting. I played baseball at a high level. I've done bodybuilding. I like all aspects because they're part of lifting weights, and those are the kind of things you can kind of experiment with in terms of using weights to.
But in weightlifting, there's so many more variables involved. Good CNS, muscle fiber recruitment, flexibility, feel for the bar, athleticism, strength. I mean, there's so many more variables that, people talk about perfect levers. Yeah, if you're only talking about overall strength or in a deadlift or something, yeah. But in weightlifting, there's just too many variables that I think that it equalizes out. So I just thought it was more fair playing field for anyone. And that's why I felt like, being 6'3", wasn't great structure for a bodybuilder. Well, I mean, it's not impossible, but it felt like...
You got some muscle right now.
But it felt like you're fighting an uphill battle.
Yeah.
And for powerlifting, if you have really long arms, you're good in the deadlift. Or if you have really long shins, it's hard to squat or whatever. But in weightlifting, it felt like I just felt the most at home with it. And maybe it's just biased because that's how I started. But at the end of the day, I just came back to them after experiencing all three. I just liked it the most. So
when did you get back? When did you come back and say, okay, I'm gonna?
Well, I was always doing some aspects of like some squats and other things, so I never completely got away from it. But the lifts, the classical lifts, I came back to like in my late 20s, and so I took a hiatus for about 8 years doing those other two, and then came back to weightlifting, in my mid to late 20s, 26, 27, I think it was, 26, like that.
And then when did you start training people, or when did you open your gym? How'd that take place?
That's really a long process because I was always helping people. I've always tried to help people regardless, whether in my personal life or in the gym. I've always tried to help other people. That's just who I am. And so if people need help or advice or whatever, I've always tried to go out of my way to do that. So I never really considered myself a coach until pretty recently, because I've always in my head, I'm just an athlete. I'm working out. Hey, I'll help you. You're here. I'll give you some pointers.
If they stick around long enough, they'll pick up.
I just need a training partner. I'll help you while you're next to me on the platform. But we're both training, and I'll give you some help. But I'm not like, I didn't want to be that guy that coaches sit around. I never wanted to be that guy. That wasn't my goal. My goal is to be the best athlete I can be. And but I think I talked about this a few other times. But when you invite people to come train with you that are young kids, I basically invited the responsibility to myself to have to give them,
the step-by-step process.
It became my responsibility ultimately for their safety and to look out for them. And so then you have to make sure they live properly. You have to make sure they're doing the right things. And so by inviting them to live with me, then it forced me to have to coach them. And they would call me coach. I'm like, I'm not a coach. Just call me Broz. I'm lifting over here. I'm just giving you some pointers. Deep down inside, I knew I was coaching them, but I didn't want to admit it to myself.
You want to put the label on. That's kind of how I'm still lifting. So I have an assistant coach, and so I lift with the team because I created almost a environment. So I need to be pushed. I still feel like I can push it. I can push it, and get something out of it.
And that was the reason I invited the people I invited, because they were all winners at a power clean contest. And if they're winning their contest, they won because of their desire to be winners. They didn't happen by accident. And I said, if I surround myself with people that are like-minded, we're going to have a great environment. So that's the reason why I chose those guys in the first place. And, one thing led to another, and then eventually found a coaching role. And I still try to lift, but then there comes a point where you obviously know this, that you have to make a decision. Should I go to this meet with these guys, or should I stay here and sit back and train because I have this thing, because I'm trying to focus on myself. And then you start to find that you find compromises in your own training because you've taken the responsibility upon yourself. And that's eventually that just becomes the majority of your decisions, and then you become the coach. And it is what it is. I don't regret it. I'm glad that I can be an influence positive in other people's lives. And the things that we've done have echoed around the world. The things we've accomplished in the gym and people we've reached and helped. It's greater than my own personal desire to be good for myself. So, overall, I think it's been a positive for a lot more people than just me. So, I don't regret it. I would still look back and go, I still wanted to lift, but the fact that I chose the choices I made, I'm happy with any of them. But getting back to the squat every day thing.
Squat every day. Yes.
Yeah. So the original gym I grew up in Cleveland, my coach, he was a really sharp guy, and he always believed in offsetting squats with leg curls. And it was something we did all the time. Reverse hypers we did before there was a reverse hyper machine. We called it reverse of the hyper. We would lay on a flat bench that was elevated. We'd raise our feet up. We'd wear iron boots for the weight on our feet instead of
iron boots.
Iron boots are a thing. It was a thing they had back forever. If you look at an old York catalog or whatever, or Billy catalog, it looked like a skate that you strapped to your shoe, and there was a hole, and you'd put a dumbbell on it, and you could put plates on it and strap to your shoes. And so they would call iron boots. And with iron boots, you could basically do weighted leg raises, reverse hypers, things like that with just the weight.
The weight on your feet.
Yeah, the weight on your feet, exactly. So we did those. So we were doing reverse of the hypers. We were doing a lot of things like that. But we did a lot of hamstring training and hip training because he was a big advocate of offsetting the squat. He felt like the squat worked your quads and the hamstrings. It was important to keep the balance of the pulley system in your leg, just like bicep and tricep oppose each other. The elbow is the pulley in the system. He believed that the hamstring and the quad oppose each other at the knee, and to avoid knee problems, for every squat we do a leg curl. And so that was something we did a lot. And so, I substitute with some of my guys for pulls or other various things, but I do have a leg curl machine. It was the first machine that I bought. It was a machine for my gym. And so we have an old Nautilus machine, the first generation ones. It's the first generation Nautilus. So it's the very first model from the. I mean, they've changed over the years, but it took me a long time to find that one. It's the same one they used at Venice Beach back in the day.
Yeah.
So it's an original first generation Nautilus. So it's a cool machine. I really love the feel for it, and it's great. And I have all the young kids I coach, and some of the experienced athletes. They do it all the time. So I mean, I think it's important for knee health.
So squatting every day, so variation, and how to do that year in and year out, or how do you progress at it? Or
Again, how do you progress to it? Just about progressive intensity. You have to take it one step at a time. If you're squatting 3 days a week, you go to 4, you go 4, do 5. If you're squatting heavy, if you're going heavy once a week, start with heavy twice a week and light 4 days a week or whatever.
Yeah.
You just gradually build. It's like building. You just got to keep adding, keep building.
yeah, get some light in there. All right.
So that's basically, it's just like progressive intensity. There's not like a set course because everybody's different. Everyone's in a different starting position. At the end of the day, you just have to start at a starting point, wherever that is, and just keep progressing. You're just going up, and that's it. You know, and if if it hurts the back squat, then front squat. If it hurts the front squat, then back squat.
Yeah.
You know, if you feel like I have the intensity to go heavy today, then you do more volume.
Yeah.
And if you're like, I just don't want to do the volume today, I'm tired from all those other things we did before, depending on whatever the rest of your training protocol has been, whatever the rest of your workout was, then on that day maybe use a little more intensity and just lower reps.
Yeah.
So just again,
So it's being smart about your training, knowing your body.
yeah, and it's hard to judge that on your own. I mean, that's why you really need a coach to see you, from the outside. Because I'll see people, for example, and they're like, I'm really tired today, this hurts, I'm going to do this. Oh, well, lifting is hard. You're going to be in pain, so you need to get over there and do more. And they'll do it. And there's days where they're pushing really hard and you need to hold them back. But that's one of the skills you learn as a coach, like when to push and when not to push. And my athletes joke around, they say, we like you about 30% of the time. And I'm like, okay, I'm okay with that, because if 70% of the time they don't like me, that means I'm doing my job. If they hated me 100% of the time, or liked me 100% of the time, then I'm either not pushing them hard enough, or I'm pushing them too hard. So I'm okay with that. And it's funny that they came up with that percentage themselves. They're like, I like you about 30%.
Yeah. It means you're pushing them to grow.
Which is fine. I mean, that's my job. And keep them safe. So that's pretty much just the squat every day thing. You just do what you can do a little bit more. Just keep pushing yourself. But it's hard to gauge that on your own.
Yeah.
If you have people around you watch, and I'm sure you've experienced this. Have you ever taken a video of yourself and then you watch it and you go, that looked a lot easier than it felt?
Yeah, a lot.
Right, because you don't really understand sometimes what you're capable of yourself. But if you have a coach that watches you every day and you're like, yeah, that was easy. You're like, dude, that was the ground. Dude, you're going up. And you're like, Dad, it's impossible. And they make you go, how did I make that? I think back to some of my athletes' stories that, people that, for example, I remember one of my guys was arguing with me about a squat number. I'm like, you can easily make this. And he's like, I can't make it, bro. I'm like, you can make it. And we went back and forth, and he just wouldn't try it. And then one day, I'm like, all right, I got to motivate this guy to do it. So I got him so upset that he was yelling at me. He goes, all right, you can't make this. I'm going to kill myself. Watch. I go, okay, go kill yourself. And he ended up making it. And then after he's done, he sat in the chair. He's like, I can't believe I made that. I go, yeah, that's why you didn't make it sooner. So there's a lot of mental hurdles to be able to get over. That's a whole other subject. That's another one of the goals of being a coach, is to help people get past those barriers, help them push themselves to a place where maybe they didn't even know they were possible to get to, or capable of. And you get through those hurdles, and they're like, wow, I am better than this, and then you continue to grow and get better and better.
So what do you do for your training? Because
Me?
talk about moving around every day. So how do you do it?
I just try to keep it interesting. I mean, I'm not competing for any reasons. I enjoy doing the lifts. I still do a little bit of bodybuilding once in a while because I enjoy doing it occasionally. I didn't like doing it all the time. I just mix it up. I just do something. I try to do some squat or some lift every day. A snatch, clean, front squat, back squat. Some days I'll just do heavy deadlifts and some push presses. I mean, I just mix it up. I just do different stuff. Usually, for bodybuilding, I'll do a 2-day split. I'll do chest and back, or I'll do chest and tries, back and back. And I'll mix it up. I mean, I just go through phases. I just keep moving. For me, at this point, it's about just staying alive and moving. I mean, my first coach, he used to say the same things over and over, and he drilled these things in my head. And he used to say, movement is life and stagnation is death. And it always rings in my head like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing, I just need to keep moving. Just keep moving. A friend of mine, Brad Gillinger, powerlifter,
Yeah.
he told me one time, it was a pretty good analogy. He said that as long as he keeps moving, he's in good shape. It's like every year you get older, there's another train, another car on the train. And the train gets longer and longer and longer.
Heavier.
And if that engine stops, it's really hard to get moving again. So it's better just to keep that train moving, keep chugging along. And so as long as I keep moving, everything keeps going, then hopefully I can maintain my health as long as possible and just try to enjoy my life, quality life as long as I can. So I'm just doing stuff that's fun. Like I power snatch today, I did clean jerks yesterday.
Had some fun today.
That's okay. It's just a challenge. It's good to be healthy where you can actually fight with the weights a little bit.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than when you're injured and you can't really push yourself to fight with the weight you're actually.
Whenever you came back, you hurt yourself a few years ago.
I've been hurt a few times. Yeah. I've had shoulder surgery on both shoulders.
You were posting those videos about your progress. So
That was like, I think my knee was the last surgery I had. I broke my leg when I was a kid and didn't heal properly. So I had a bunch of issues with knee tracking and trochlear groove issues, meniscus, and a bunch of other problems in my leg. So I had surgery on my knee, and then I just started squatting the next day. And I just came back. So there's a difference between fighting through that kind of pain and actually fighting with the weight. And I don't mind some training pain, but I'd rather spend my energy and my mindset like fighting with the bar and fighting with the challenge of lifting versus just fighting to get through this miserable amount of pain just to be able to keep moving. Which lately, it seems like as I get older, that's more of the fight. Like the first rep every day, it feels like I just came off the Olympic training cycle the day before. It feels like so much pain. Like, why is this so hard? Like, I'm not even training. So I think all the heavy training in my life earlier prepared me for what it takes to get through the training to keep moving every day now. And as long as I keep moving, it's not so bad. So it doesn't get easier as you get older, it gets harder.
So any 3 tips that you would give towards maybe an aspiring weightlifter or a weightlifter, or just maybe just success in general, or how to progress in life in general?
I think there's a few.
You've been successful in your business.
I think the biggest thing is like people used to say I was really stubborn. I'm a redhead, and people are like, "Oh, you're such a stubborn bastard," and I don't think that's a bad quality. I think the more I look back, I think being really focused and determined, and to not give up no matter what. I think stubbornness is a fantastic quality. I mean, you'll see a lot of people that have a lot of talent. So they say, I guess that's a pretty broad term, a lot of ability, let's say, physical ability, but they don't have the mental ability. They don't have the discipline. They don't have the fortitude. They don't have, the consistency. They don't have the other traits to become good. And I think that, the thing that I find that most people do is they vary way too much from what they're good at. In life, if you've something you're good at, then just give it 100% effort and just do it. Nothing lasts forever. You can always change later. But for the time when you're doing something, put all your effort into it as much as you possibly can. And it's like energy is either lost and energy is either created or destroyed, right? It's like, laws of physics. And it's the same thing with, life. Like, you can't put all this energy into lifting 100%. I think there's going to be nothing else on the other end of that if it doesn't work out. So I had a lifter that trained with me for years, and he put a lot of effort into something. And he's like, "Broz, what if I don't ever become a great lifter?" I go, "It doesn't matter. There's going to be benefits down the road."
Yeah.
And
the characteristics, the internal qualities that you develop.
And that's something he didn't see. And so now he learned how to have the discipline, how to have the focus, how to be great. It's a pretty funny story. So there was 2 kids that I trained at the same time, and I pushed them really, really hard. They both became really, really good lifters. Then they both went away for a summer to do sales. And it was like all these rookies, they had never done sales before. And so them and 400 other kids went for this summer to sell these door-to-door products. And they both came in first and second for like rookie of the year. They were battling the whole summer. They both took first and second. And they talked about it when they came back. And like, how is it possible that out of 400 kids we came first and second? It's because the discipline and the mindset that they learned in lifting, you apply that to other areas of life. And so it really comes down to, again, learning how to be focused, learning how to be disciplined, putting all your eggs in one basket and putting everything in front of you as best you can be. And again, you learn things about yourself and how to be successful. So I think that's the one thing that most people don't do. I see a lot of people that bounce around. I got school, I got lifting, I got this, I got that. Dude, do one thing, do it great. When you're done with that, go to something else, be great at that. When you're done with that, go great at something else. But trying to juggle 15 things at once, it doesn't work. You can't. It's like trying to snatch and be thinking about what you're making for lunch the next day. Like, you're going to cook lunch now? No, then don't think about it. Think about lifting. When you're done lifting, think about something else. So I think that's one of the biggest things is, having the desire and the stubbornness to just continue on it and stay in one-track mind as much as possible. Because the less things are on your plate, the easier it is to stay focused and be successful. I think that's a very hard quality for people that mental discipline to push everything out of your mind. Like, let's say, for example, you and your girlfriend get an argument, and you're at the gym, and you're thinking, and let's say you and your wife get an argument, you're at the gym, you're thinking about this argument you had. Does that change anything at that exact moment? No, it's what you're sacrificing your workout. So having that mental strength to not think about anything that's going on except what's the task at hand that's right in front of you at that exact moment. And then when you're finished lifting, then you can think about whatever the next thing is. Whatever that matter you had is, think about it then. But if you're distracted thinking about other things when you're trying to do something else in front of you, you're not going to be successful. You can't be. So I think that's a huge skill set to have. And the guys that I've coached that are the most successful are the people that have that mindset where they can just block out the world and focus on one thing. And not just while they're lifting. Day in and day out, I'm not going to have a girlfriend. I'm not going to anywhere. All I want to do is train. And they get up, they go to the gym, they go home, they eat, they nap, and they get up, and they're like robotic. And they can simplify their life, and they're on this train. And everyone's like, how did they get so fast in a year? How did they make so much progress in 2 years? Because that's all they do. And when you can do that in school, in business, in weightlifting, or in any field you choose, it's hard to beat people that are on that track when you're doing two things and they're only doing one. How do you beat them? How do you get better grades than them? How do you be more successful in business than them? How do you do it? You don't.
You got to pick out one thing, like you said.
You don't. You don't beat those people. And they have an uncanny desire to work like so hard and do nothing else. Good luck beating them. You're going to have to work harder. So I think that's the biggest mistake I see from a lot of kids. It's just, you want to be a lifter, be a lifter. You want to be a hobbyist, then take it as a hobby and focus your energy on something that's a bigger priority in your life. There's nothing wrong with doing lifting as a hobby, but address it for what it is. Don't say you want to be great at lifting if you really don't want to be great at lifting. Like, be realistic. Do you want to do it as a hobby and have fun and be great at go to med school and being the best medical student you can? Or are you trying to I just want to go to school and get a degree, but I really want to be a lifter? What do you really want? Quantify your goals clearly. I don't think a lot of people have very crystal clear goals.
It's awesome. Any words, anything else? That's it? That's awesome right there. That's some great stuff.
That's a lot of talking.
That's a lot of great information.
I think it's time for food now.
Yes, time for food. Well, John Broz, hey man, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. It was very nice to sit down. I felt like I was lifting weights with you. That was good. I like seeing other coaches that lift. It fires me up.
It's a good time. You got to keep moving.
That's the same thing. That's what my thing is. Like, I like to coach, but also I still like to lift. So
got to keep it. That's what fun's at. You lose the passion. It's even funny about that, not to just sidetrack with it, because when you continue to lift yourself, you remember things that you might have forgotten in yourself, and then you realize things, and it just keeps you more on top of your game. It's easy to sit in a chair and watch people and see what they do wrong. But when you're actually still doing it yourself, you start to remember things that you had, issues you dealt with, and other things, and you're like, oh, I forgot about that one thing. Maybe that's what's going on with this guy. Because you can't.
You can still feel it. You're like, oh, this is how I'm feeling.
You don't have total recall for everything you've ever learned at every given moment in time, but when you're living it yourself, you're still going through it. It seems like it's easier to remember some of those things and pull back some of your own experiences. So that's the thing. Another reason why I keep lifting is I still remember certain things. It's easier for me to help. It's like a refresher course all the time for myself. It's not like these memories of having it 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Hey, it's like that was 2 weeks ago. Like, remember when I didn't turn the bar over fast enough so I wasn't doing this? Oh yeah, I remember I had that problem for years. Hey, that's the same thing this guy's doing, or whatever. So I think it's good to keep lifting as a coach. So.
No, exactly. I see this as I coach. I see lifters, and I can actually help lifters that I've had trouble with. Like years ago, a couple years ago, I had problems with a jerk.
But you might have forgotten those issues that you had. But if you're still trying to do jerks and still struggling with the same things, you remember how you fixed it, and then you can relate that to somebody else. But had you not kept lifting, you might have forgotten that cue.
I would
That
probably never
cue,
gotten there, yeah.
that cue that you figured out before, you forget that you had that cue, and then it's like I said, it's a refresher course all the time for yourself. That's another reason why I keep lifting. You know, so
That's a good reason.
yeah, that's a good reason.
All right, John Broz.
Okay.
Thank you very much, man. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it. All right.